Hello and welcome to the Crime Files. Today we'll learn the terrifying reality about one of the most violent criminal organizations in modern history, Motorclub Caloh Wagoh. But what makes this Dutch motorcycle gang so dangerous? What motivates their reign of terror? And how have they managed to avoid capture for so long? Join us as we peel back the layers of this criminal empire's web of brutality, corruption, and illicit businesses. But be warned, the disclosure that follows will make you doubt the very foundations of justice. Are you willing to face the truth? Prepare to go deep into the heart of darkness as we uncover the mysteries of Motorclub Caloh Wagoh. The question is, why is this motor club so dangerous? From contract assassinations to drug trafficking, this Dutch murder syndicate has been implicated in some of the most heinous crimes. Horrible acts committed in recent times, their sinister web of connections and the brutal tactics they employ have shocked the world, leaving many wondering how such an organization could have thrived for so long. But the fact that the world's big mafias resort to murder in order to maintain their power, prestige and control, including the Dutch macro-mafia such as Ridderwantegi, is nothing new to us. Either their trust has been broken or they have turned out to be crown witnesses to the persecutors against the members who are the primary reasons for such murders. Their main goal is to protect themselves, their identity, and their gang from being disturbed by a third party. In most cases, the murderers turn out to be young, immature teenage boys or young adults who do not understand the full ramifications of such attempts and greed for money and are often provoked by anger and a desire to take revenge by killing individuals. The United Gang was formed by a combination of two criminal associations, the Trailer Trash Motorcycle Club and the Crips from The Hague, which showed much more power. The group was primarily composed of young males and others living in the trailer parks of Suriname who were contacted by one of the most renowned criminals of all time, Taggy. Delano, a rising and passionate criminal determined to prove his loyalty to Taggy, attempted a single-handed murder of his rivals. The two joined forces and began their venture, with Taggy paying a substantial sum of €70,000 for each murder successfully completed. His lifestyle and was well known to the authorities. Jer Wessels was shot to death in a parking lot in Brooklyn, having spent much of his time in Spain where he enjoyed a luxurious lifestyle and was well known to the authorities. According to the authorities, the incident happened when he arrived in the Netherlands to attend his daughter's performance at an event. He had a meeting with an interior designer and was driving his rented Volkswagen to meet them 45 minutes later. He was on his way to his next destination, the Brooklyn station, when a black car pulled up and parked in the same spot he was about to park his car in. To his surprise, a man wearing a black mask opened fire on him, and after multiple shots, they pronounced him dead. Tony de Gaia, a member of the Cold, was one of the prime suspects in the case, which was one of the most brutal murders in the history of the infamous motorcycle club Caloh Wagoh. Tony was the one who drove the getaway car after the murder, and the two perpetrators, one of whom is Tony, switched to a different getaway car after dousing the first one with gasoline and setting it on fire. So the Caloh Wagoh Motor Club is not to be taken lightly. They are notorious for being exceedingly hazardous. Some claim they're so tough that even Chuck Norris wouldn't meddle with them. Aside from Chuck Norris, don't waste any time exploring the nasty world of Motorclub Caloh Wagoh. Join us on the Crime Files by clicking the subscribe button. Remember that while crime is serious, we can also have some fun along the way. So, what are you holding out for? Subscribe right now, and let's explore the dark, twisted world of crime together. However, there was a twist. Someone stood near the garbage cans at just the right moment and observed the occurrence. They couldn't leave any evidence behind, so they were compelled to shoot the innocent person at the corner of the road. But hold on, here comes yet another plot twist. Tony had no choice but to kill his partner, Zeki, whom he dealt in narcotics with. Zeki was also a vehicle dealer, and Tony had previously been business partners and signed a contract with him, but it failed. Zeki was also good friends with Tony's father, who turned out to be a member of the club at the same time as Tony, so the three of them organized a meeting together and sent the pictures to Delano, the then rising murderer. But there arose the reason that made Tony compelled to sacrifice Zeki. But what was it? The reason was that some cocaine had been stolen under Zeki's supervision, which made Tony doubt his motives, and thus Tony murdered Zeki. The enigma is about to be revealed. Delano was on the verge of being arrested since the previous automobile they had set on fire had been found. Enough of it remained to provide the police with the evidence to put him behind bars, and as such his life was now in jeopardy, which led him to start threatening Tony, putting both of them in peril. Tony finally felt that the game was over for him, so he tried to avoid Delano and find places to hide himself from him. However, Delano was running out of patience and continued to threaten Tony when Zeki was discovered dead in the car by a random person and the police arrived at the spot. Zeki had informed someone earlier that he needed to go for an appointment to rent a car, and it had been assumed that Greg R. Delano's right-hand man committed the murder during this time. But when the murder was committed, Tony had just protected himself from both Delano and the Dutch police by going to Spain. Isn't it strange and pitiful that a murderer is afraid of another murderer? He stayed in Spain to keep a safe distance between himself and Delano, but his family, who remained alone in the Netherlands, bothered Tony, which was his weakness. What terrified him the most was that Delano was well aware that this put his family in a far more risky position than ever before. The day came when Tony was running out of options since the police of Spain had now been alerted about his presence and made well aware of his past criminal records. The Spanish police took immediate action and kept an eye on him and watched his every move, with his apartment being under surveillance 24/7. Several observation teams were set up throughout the building and watched over him. The Spanish people also took photographs of Tony, including his father, and sent them to the Dutch police. The Spanish police was ready to make an arrest and set up a special police unit in case a firefight broke out. Tony was eventually arrested, handed over to the Dutch police, and brought back to Netherlands for further interrogation. What happens next is somewhat shocking because, unlike most criminals, he decided to speak up and give his first statement, in which he confessed everything he did and disclosed all the minor details and their master plans, how they committed their crimes, and who the perpetrator was. The Dutch police were as surprised as you are right now. Tony is accused of murdering Jer, and the liquidation in Brooklyn was the only thing that pushed Tony to join justice when he began testifying for his crimes. Tony gave up yielding and resorted to selecting the correct route after two of them made him feel bad. Tony's other concern was the safety of his family, which was only possible if he turned himself in. It was clear that he needed to serve as a prisoner someday. But is that the end? Well, probably not. If he ever gets out of prison, his former associate and current enemy, Delano, will put him under pressure and may even end up murdering him. Within 6 months of Tony turning himself in, the murder cartel was responsible for 6 additional homicides and 10 more homicide attempts. Is Australia's Caloh Wagoh Motorcycle Club outlawed? Due to its violent lifestyle, the Caloh Wagoh Motorcycle Club has been outlawed in Australia. A number of violent occurrences, including shootings, stabbings, and assaults, have been related to the club. According to the police, the club posed a serious threat to public safety and its members were involved in a variety of criminal activities. Anyone who is a member of the Caloh Wagoh Motorcycle Club or associates with the club in any manner is breaking the law. Anyone who is found violating the prohibition might face up to 2 years in prison. This bitter reality sheds light on the catastrophic events that are a direct result of the criminal environment that exists today. According to the FRI, 4 of the 21 apprehended suspects were sentenced to life in prison, while the other 14 received penalties ranging from 1 to 30 years in prison. So, what's your opinion about all this? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to check out our channel for more crime-related content.